Now back to Eye on Memphis with Betty LaMarr.
Welcome back to Eye on Memphis. I am your host, Betty LaMarr, and we're having a beautiful morning. It's a beautiful fall morning, thank God. Because Greg, I don't do good with the heat. I tell people, if it's, that's right, because I know one thing. If it's hot, count me out. I don't care what it is, count me out. But anyway, anyway, today, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about in observance of breast cancer. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we have so many strong women that are no longer here with us, and we have strong women that are still with us that's just carrying the banner on and being an inspiration and an encouragement and a motivation to those women that are still being diagnosed and that are diagnosed. And I have with me now Miss Webster, Miss Annie Webster. Is it Annie Curry or Annie Webster? Does it matter?
Curry is my maiden name, so that's fine. It's Annie Curry Webster.
Okay.
You want to put it.
All right. Well, you're gonna be Annie, okay? So
That's
I won't
great.
trip up on that. Okay, Annie. Thank you so much for joining me on Eye on Memphis.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you too. Now, tell us when you were diagnosed and how all of that came about for you.
I was diagnosed in 2008. I went for my annual mammogram as usual, and on that particular date, I was, matter of fact, October the 27th, 3 days before my birthday,
Wow.
I was diagnosed, and I went for like I said, my annual mammogram. And at the time, during the mammogram, I came back out after they had finished, came back out to the waiting room. So they came out and said, we need to do your mammogram over. We saw something. I said, well, okay then. So at that time, I'm like still praying, went in, had the mammogram done over, came back out, took a seat, and they came back out and said, what we saw, we need to do a biopsy. And I said, a biopsy? And the young man said, yes. I said, okay. Went back in, had the biopsy done. They said, well, we will contact you in about 3 to 4 days. I said, okay. And in the meantime, I went home and I was telling my daughter about it. And she said, oh, Mama, you're going to be all right. I said, yeah, I know. So 3 days later, my primary care physician contacted me and told me that she needed me to come in. She had gotten the results from my mammogram, and I did so. And it was cancer. And we went from there.
Okay, so what was your first initial reaction when you got the official diagnosis, when they said it is what it is?
I was stunned because I have a sister who was diagnosed with breast cancer, but she was like 30 years out survivorship. And she's still going strong. She's 81 years old.
Wow, wonderful.
And she's doing good. But I was really shocked. And I said, well, Lord, you will get me through this. And I started praying, and I talked to my children about it. And at that point, I went to see my surgeon. And we went from there. But during that time when I went to see the surgeon, he was not satisfied with the pathology report that he had gotten.
Okay.
And he said, Miss Webster, I want to do my own. I want to do the mammogram. I want to do the MRI. I want to do the biopsy, the whole 9 yards. And I'm like, why? He said, because where your cancer is, it's not really there. It's somewhere else. And I'm like, somewhere else in my body? He said, no, in your breast. And I'm like, okay. So he did the MRI, the whole 9 yards, and come to find out, ladies, if you have dense tissue in your breast, please ask for a ultrasound or MRI. That's where my cancer was. It was a 1.5 centimeter that was lodged in the dense tissue, which is a fatty tissue inside of your breast, and it had spread it to a nodule. That's where the cancer was, inside of the dense tissue, not in the nozzle where they did the biopsy.
Okay, and I'm glad you mentioned that because the VA, of course, takes care of all of our mammograms and everything. Mm-hmm. So I went 2 weeks ago to get my mammogram at Baptist, and they have this new device now, almost like a ultrasound type thing.
Right.
that they say is for people like me with dense tissue.
Right.
And it's almost like you go like all the way around.
Round
And
and
they
round,
say it's sort of
yeah.
kind of like almost like sections the breast where they can see in between. And they said that was created for people like us with
Right.
dense tissue. And I went, oh, okay, cool. So far, so good. I haven't heard anything, but it was a good feeling knowing that they have invented something, like she said, just for people like you with dense
Right.
tissue,
This,
because we need to see inside of the areas that the regular mammogram may or may not pick up.
right, exactly. And at that point, after he did the biopsy, then that's when I had to make a decision as to whether I wanted to have the total breast removal or not. And at that point, my decision was to have the mastectomy, and I did. And I am 11 years today. I mean, on the 27th, if the Lord let me see, I will celebrate 11 years of breast cancer survivorship.
Okay. Well, when they removed the breast, what did you do?
After they had removed the breast, I was out for like maybe 3 weeks. I went back to see my surgeon. He referred me over to the oncologist who actually had to do 4 treatments of chemo. And I went through the chemo. I was going every 3 weeks. And I just want to thank God. I thank Him every day that I did not miss not one day of work. Every 3 weeks, I was in West Clinic getting my chemo. I would do it on a Wednesday. I would go back to work on Thursday. And I just kept rolling, and kept going.
I'm so proud of you. But look, let's talk about this, and then I'm going to ask you about something else. Now, I'll do this first.
Okay.
I was at the VA, of course. That's thank God. If for no other reason I served my country, I have the VA there for me. And I think I wish everybody had insurance, because it's such a good feeling to know that if you have anything going on, you have a place to go. And you don't have to worry about, am I broke? Do I need any money? They're going to see me. But I walked in the women's clinic, Annie, and I saw, they were really big on breast cancer month, because, women, female vets, and Sisters Network, Memphis chapter. How did that happen? How did they connect your logo with the VA? Because normally the VA don't endorse too much,
Yeah.
It's all VA. Tell me about that.
We give Miss Carolyn Whitney all the praises for that. She is the founder of Sisters Network Memphis Chapter, Inc., which location headquarters is in Houston, Texas. And she was a great person in spreading the awareness. And, she touched the VA with the men and women there who does not have insurance or anything that would help them get through their process of breast cancer. So she connected with the VA in helping to supply. We would not totally, but we help with medication. We do help with wigs. We transportation, that sort of thing, and we do that through the VA and other resources.
Wow, because when I saw this, I was like so happy. It was almost like it was meant for me to see this, because I happened to go over there for, like I said, my toe itch. I'm over there, right? Oh, I don't play with my health. I mean, it's something, your body. I tell people, know your body. If your body, there's some things your body may not send off a signal.
Yes.
But when it does send off a signal, pay attention.
Right.
I'm getting your attention for a reason. So I was there for another signal, okay? Yeah. And then I looked down and it was like, Sisters Network. It was preceding this show, right? So I'm going to ask her about that. So how long have the Sisters Network, and speaking of Miss Whitney was, when I first decided to do medical talk, that's how I met Miss Whitney. Okay. I was looking for someone with, because I did a show at Christian Brothers University in honor of my sister that had passed. And I said, I just want to do a show about nothing but women in cancer today, because I know she would have been so proud of me for doing so. But I was busy interviewing celebrities and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But I haven't done anything but medical since that day. Mm-hmm. And Miss Whitney, somebody said, you need to contact this lady named Miss Whitney. She works part-time at a school, but she has this support group for women with cancer. So I did my homework, and I heard her little soft voice. Hi, this is Miss Carolyn Whitney. And from that day forward, Miss Whitney was with me all the way. She really was very supportive with me, helping me to even get through with my sister. She was on the show with me. As a matter of fact, I think Miss Whitney was on the show with me a couple of times. But I thank Miss Whitney, and I always remember the Sisters Network anytime I'm doing anything that have to do with cancer. And tell us real quick, too, about your pink luncheon that you all do.
Oh, we just had our 15th Pink Ribbon Luncheon at the Peabody. We did honor Miss Whitney, of course, during this time of the year, this month, I think, during her passing. But we did honor her at the Pink Ribbon Luncheon, and we had like 562 people who actually attended the luncheon. Last year, it was 644 people. So we thank God that it was successful, and we paid honor to her family, which was very, very rewarding to us.
Okay. So what can women out there or men that are dealing with breast cancer, how do they reach out to Sisters Network if they want to say? There are a lot of women that go through breast cancer, and I know this for a fact alone, because I never knew for my sisters to be a part of a support group. And I know everybody's not a grouper, but I'm not. But I know that with something like that, it helps to connect with others that are living with what you're living with. So how would those people contact your organization to be a part of everything that you're doing in the community, which is wonderful?
We are building our website over again now.
Okay.
But at this time, anyone that would like to get information, you can email me at anniew1294@gmail.com, or you can email me at sistersnetworkmem@gmail.com.
Okay, or and I'm going to make sure we put that on Facebook.
Right.
And if anyone wants to contact me, you can inbox me for information about Sisters Network or Stephanie Turner or any of my guests here today if you all want to get in touch with them. Is there anything else, Ms. Webster, that you need for us to know about your organization, or just things that women need to know about taking care of themselves, making sure they get those mammograms and breasts? We don't talk a lot about self-exams. How important is self-exams?
Self-exams are very important. Even if you're in the shower, just massage your breast. If you're lying in bed, just put your arms behind your head and one arm behind your head and just massage your breast. Just make sure that you don't feel anything, or if anything is abnormal, that you know that's not supposed to be there. Contact your doctor right away. And for our men, please, when you go to the doctor, have your doctor to check your breast. It's okay, because we have men who have breast cancer as well. It's something that they don't like talking about, but it is very important of these days, because it's becoming more,
Prevalent?
Prevalent, right? Yes, thank you. Now in men. So I suggest, and again too, I have another sister who was diagnosed with breast cancer 3 years ago, and we did the genetic testing, and it came back negative. It's not hereditary, but at this point, there are 3 of us in my family who has breast cancer and are survivors. But Sisters Network is committed to increasing and local national attention to devastating impact that breast cancer has in the African American community. So we are on a mission. We do our Teen for Pink, where we go into the schools and we talk to our teens about breast cancer. Then we do the Gift for Life block walk, where we go into the community, knocking on doors and leaving literature. We have the mammogram mobile doing our block walk in October.
Wow.
So, and then our Pink Ribbon Luncheon, where we reach out to our survivors, invite them, and then we have the First Ladies prayer brunch, who also is a part of our Sisters Network team to help spread the awareness of breast cancer. So today I would just advise all the women, any female, male, to go out and just get your mammogram. Please keep your appointments.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Annie Curry Webster.
Thank
I
you.
really do appreciate you being here with me today and giving our viewers and our listeners all this wonderful information. Again, that is the Sisters Network Memphis chapter. And this show today is in honor of my sister, Margaret Span Brooks, and my friend, Miss Carolyn Whitney. Because of Miss Carolyn Whitney, I am, I guess, my show, side of my show started in 2011. And this is 2019. And I'm still doing medical talk because of people like my sister, Miss Carolyn Whitney, and Dr. Joseph Santello. So those were the trailblazers saying, Betty, do medical talk.
Right.
It's not boring, Betty, because really, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to let you go. But when I first started medical talk that first day, God always have a plan, right?
Yes, he does.
I was
Yes, he
not
does.
planning on doing
Yeah.
that twice because I thought medical talk was going to be something boring, like, oh my God, what am I doing? Can't wait for it to be over. But after that day to this day, there's been the red carpet now instead of rolling out for James Brown and all those wonderful people that I interviewed over my lifetime. Now it's rolled out for people like yourself
Right.
that are really, really, really in your own way doing just as much. So I roll the red carpet out to you
Thank
today.
you. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll be right
Enjoy
back.
being here.
Yes, absolutely. We'll be right back with my final guest for this morning, Mrs. Wanda Meeks, and Wanda is all about health and nutrition. So she's going to talk to us about when she lost her hair and she had to go into the wig store. I
Yes.
think had she known about the American Cancer Society, she probably would have went in there first and let them took her through there. But her story is so amazing. You're listening to Eye on Memphis. I'm Betty LaMarr. And in observance of Breast Cancer Month, I'm so thankful to have these beautiful survivors with me today, the strongest women that I know.
Thank you for
We'll be
having
right back after this word from our sponsors.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this word from our sponsor, AM Diabetes and Endocrinology Center.
Welcome back. You are watching Eye on Memphis and listening to Eye on Memphis. I'm your host, Betty LaMarr. So between all of that, you have Facebook Live streaming, okay? For those of you that like to watch and listen. And I would like to thank everybody at KWAM, KWAM, we always say KWAM, at KWAM The Voice, for giving Eye on Memphis this opportunity to bring awareness to health in our community because health is so very important. So thank you, George, for trusting and believing in me to do what I do on this station. Good morning, Wanda Meeks.
How
All
y'all
right.
doing?
Doing good. You're going to be on TV tonight with your full interview about your journey. So today we're just going to talk about it in brief to our listeners about your journey. And first of all, just tell us a little bit about you and when you were diagnosed and how did all that happen.
Okay, my name is Wanda Meeks, and I was diagnosed in 2008. So I'm an 11-year survivor. And first of all, when I went to the doctor, first of all, I'm going to start from the beginning. I was laying across the bed, and I was, touching my breast. Mm-hmm. And so after that, I felt a lump in my breast. So I was like, well, I need to go and make an appointment to my doctor. So I called my doctor, make an appointment. So I told her something was going on with my breast. And so she was like, what is it? And I was like, I feel a lump there. So she said, well, I'm going to send you to get a biopsy and see, what comes back on the test. I said, okay. So about probably 2 weeks later, she calls me. She's like, I need to talk to you. I said, well, whatever you have to say, could you say it on the phone? She said, no, I need to meet you in person. So
Okay, that's serious then.
yeah, so I made an appointment and everything with her. So I came in the office and she was like, well, Wanda, you have breast cancer. And I was like, I was stunned. I was like, what? She said, you have breast cancer. She said, it's very early stage, but, we're going to get through it. I said, okay. So after that, I just started crying because I was like, when you hear the word cancer, it's just like it's devastating to me. So I was like, so what is my next step? She said, well, you're going to have to, I'm going to send you to a specialist, and you can go from there. So I ended up going to Dr. Morose. And she explained to me what I'm going to have to be going through and this, that, and it was very scary to me. I was like, okay. She said, your breast is very small, so you're going to have to go through chemo. I said, chemo? She said, yes. She said, I said, that's where you lose your hair? She said, yes. I said, okay.
Okay, speaking of that, because we're going to go through that full interview again tonight on Channel 17. You all going to really want to watch that because Wanda's going to take you through that whole journey, and it is so wonderful. You did a wonderful job, Wanda. But let's get to this because we know with women, it's something about our hair.
Yes.
And you just mentioned the hair.
Yes.
And I remember, do you remember years ago they had this product they put out, this little snake oil for black women, Rio hair.
Okay.
And if you use this product, supposedly our hair was straightened like Claire's without chemicals, right?
Okay.
So we bought the Kool-Aid, we drank it, lost all our hair. You would have thought every black woman that used Rio had chemo. And so I know, I would never forget the morning I woke up and my hair was just on the pillow. It was on the pillow. And we all got a little settlement, like $100. Wasn't nothing compared to losing all your hair.
Yeah.
And not knowing if it was going to ever come back again. So I've been through that traumatic experience. So tell me about that. The first day you had to walk, you realized you was losing your hair and you walked in the wig store.
Okay. I was, I started my hair, my first chemo, I didn't lose my hair right then, but probably the third chemo, I started losing my hair. So I was like, well, I got to go buy a wig. And I was like, never wore a wig before. And it was like, okay, which wig shop do I choose? So I chose this wig shop on Madison. I walks in, I look around. I mean, wigs just everywhere. And I was just walking up and down the aisle, just pacing the floor. I was like, okay, I don't even know where to start. So I ran up on this lady. She was like, baby, she said, what's going on with you? I said, I'm going through chemo and I'm losing my hair and I got to find a wig. She said, she had a wig on her head. She was wearing a wig at the time, and she was like, she snatched the wig off her head and she said, look at my head. She said, I have alopecia and my hair will never grow back. And I was like, okay. And she said, you're just going through this for a season. She said, put that wig on your head and hold your head up and keep going. And from then, I was like, okay. It was just like, when I put that wig on my head, I was like, oh my God, I got to do this. And I know I got to do this. And, I got stronger and stronger. And I was like, she said, okay. When I walked out.
In a wig.
With a wig.
Looking pretty.
Look, when I walked out with my wig on, I was like, this ain't going to be so bad after all, And so now, now it's like, I love wigs now. My whole closet full of wigs now, because I like, because I like to switch up, and look at how different styles. So I was like, and I said, Lord, if I had to go through this, you took me through this. I said, I know I can help somebody else,
Let's talk about that. Now, I know you're passionate about nutrition, so let's just talk a little bit. Just give us, in the time that we have, Wanda, because like I said, you're going to cover all that tonight on Comcast, but just give us an idea of some foods that people need to include or exclude from their diet now if they're living with cancer or surviving cancer or anything cancer. Okay?
Okay. First of all, just like when I was going through chemo, you can't eat anything on the grill, because if you're going through chemo, it's just like it'll burn you. Because some people, a lady I met while we was going through chemo together, she was burnt. Her breast was burnt from the radiation. So a lot of things, you don't eat grilled food. And 3 things that I add in my diet each month is cabbage, greens, and broccoli, because they're high in nutrients and they, kill cancer cells. And I also eat apples. I eat an apple every day. Yes, and drink plenty of water, and Another thing, I juice. And I do the green. I do the kale, the kiwi, the avocado, the flaxseed. And I get you, I'm telling everybody, purchase you a bullet because you get all your nutrients. And then when I cook my greens.
A bullet?
Yeah, a bullet. But that's where I get all of my nutrients because
Let's be clear. Okay.
NutriBullet. Well, I'm saying, NutriBullet.
Okay.
So, and then when you cook your greens and your cabbage and your greens, your cabbage, when you cook it, you saute it so you can get all of your nutrients.
Oh.
You know, instead of boiling it, you boiling your nutrients out, you want to get all of it. So, those 3 things that I include in my diet, and then I juice also. So. And potatoes, I can just go on and on with the list.
What about
Cottage
sugar?
cheese.
You've mentioned sugar before, the devastation of sugar and cancer. I don't do sugar too much anyway.
Sugar, it's like cancer. It's a cancer feeder.
Yes.
So when you continue to put sugar in your system, you're feeding the cancer. So people wonder why cancer comes back because of what you're putting in your body. So you got to eliminate a lot of things that's connected to cancer, and sugar is number 1. Drink plenty of water, and then do a detox. So sometimes that can detox your body. You can detox a lot of things that's going in. So
how do you detox? What do you do? What's your procedure for detox?
Well, they have, just like when I do my kale, my kiwi, and avocado, just like a natural detox.
Okay.
Yes. Because when you eliminate waste, and when it's green, you're detoxing your body.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I tell everybody, everyone that's listening that when I first was diagnosed, I had, breast exams. And I think it's important to me because, mammograms are important and ultrasounds are important, but the breast exam is most important because that's how I found mine, because I had just had a mammogram a month ago.
Wow. And you was...
Yeah, and I started just doing my
self-exam.
self-exams, and then that's when I found the lump in my breast.
Okay.
And then, so
basically what we're doing is advocating today women that you, number 1, take care of yourself. Women have we're known for taking care of everyone but ourselves. Yeah. And I'm so happy I don't have kids or I've never been married, so, I can be selfish because I can take care of me. To me, there's no excuse for me not to take care of me.
Yes.
But when women have a lot of other distractions, so ladies, what we're saying is that take care of your husbands, take care of your children, take care of your family, take care of everybody, but take care of you.
Host Betty LaMarr invites you to tune in for the Ion Memphis Talk Show. Ion Memphis, wall-to-wall conversations with top doctors, community leaders, and people just like you, focused on the health and everyday human conditions in the Bluff City.